Okay, give me 1 second. You're back the same way. We're going to leave it this way, but I'm going to try to.
Okay, because I can't co-host. I've never done a TikTok live in my life.
No worries. Okay. Let me see if I could change the settings. If not, I can see you. Can you see the comments?
Yeah, I can see everything. I can
Okay,
see
then
you, I
we'll.
can see everyone. It's just not the the grid.
Right. We can definitely leave it like this if you're comfortable with that.
Yeah, and if we can sort it out and it gets to work, then fine.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
I
Thanks for
am
having me.
so excited that you are joining us. I know that it is 10 o'clock there, so
Yeah.
thank you.
I've had a long day.
And I appreciate you for jumping on. So I want to welcome you to my platform. Everyone knows I'm Danny, your thriller bestie. I talk about your books all the time.
And I'm very grateful. I'm very, very grateful for that. You have no idea. I'm very grateful.
Well, if you would like, just share a little bit about yourself. Let anyone new who has never heard of you or who doesn't know you, which would be really crazy. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and maybe a little bit about how you started writing, and then we'll go a little bit deeper.
Okay, so my name is Nadine Matheson, and as Danny said, it is 10 o'clock. No, it is 10:05 where I am because I'm in London. So I'm London born and bred, but my family's from Grenada, and I haven't always written. I started off life as a criminal defense lawyer. So I've been doing that for 20, it's more than 20 years I've been involved in criminal law. It doesn't seem like it, but it's been a long time.
That is crazy.
I know, life is funny. So I started out as a criminal defense lawyer, and I self-published my very first book. I think 2015. I self-published, and that was a book called The Sisters, which is not a thriller at all.
Okay.
It's like a family drama. So I self-published that in 2015, and then the date, which is crazy. That's more than 10 years ago now. It's 11 years ago. Yeah. And then 2016, I think it was, I entered a competition, a crime writing competition, which I won.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I won the competition, I thought the prize was money, and it wasn't money. It was basically like a discount of a creative writing master's degree. And so I did the creative writing master's degree, but you could specialize in crime or thriller writing. So I specialized in crime and thriller writing. And in order to complete the course, you had to write your novel. And I wrote a novel, and that was called The Jigsaw Man. And at the end of the course, yes, exactly it. It was The Jigsaw Man. And yeah, I finished the book, and I was like, if I get an agent, cool. If I don't get an agent, I'll just self-publish, because I've done that before. But I finished the book. I graduated from the course, and I got an agent. I'm skipping over bits, but I did get an agent.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even a month after signing with my agent, I got my publishing deal. And then The Jigsaw Man came out 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you, Danny. It's 2020.
I know.
You know what's crazy though? This is what you don't realize in the beginning. I remember someone came to the university, to the school, and said it was another author doing their author. They call it masterclass. And I remember them clearly saying that if you sign with a publisher, it will take 2 years for your book to get published. And you're like, what are you talking about? How can it be 2 years?
Yeah.
And I signed 2019. And 2021, The Jigsaw Man was published. And yeah, I didn't plan for it to be a series. But when I first met my agent said, is it a series? And you're not going to say no, because you want a deal, don't you?
Right.
You want to sign. So
right.
It's a series. Of course it's a series. It's a series. And yeah. And then I say the rest is history. Signed with him, signed my publishing deal, published The Jigsaw Man, came out, I think it was February 21 in the UK. And I think it then came out March in the States. And we are now, I was going to say 3 books in, we're now 4 books in, because the 4th book in the series comes out next year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's incredible. That is incredible. And I just discovered The Jigsaw Man in 2024. And I buddy read your books along with many others with one of my best book friends, Kim. And we buddy read The Jigsaw Man, and the rest was history. my head was on a swivel because I fell in love with every character. Angelica, she is my girl. Like, I love her. She get on my nerves sometime, and you know that.
Oh, she does, doesn't she?
But I love her. I love her story. I do love her family, and I just love how complex that book is. I did have one more question about the writing process, and then I want to get more into Angelica and the series. So another question that I did have was, when you start a new book, do you begin with the crime, the motive, or the victim? How do you kind of create your books?
You know, when I saw this question, I had to think about it. I was like, what do I do? Because I always see a scene first in my head.
Okay.
So I remember with the binding room, I saw the boy trapped. Yeah, the second one. That's the second one. I saw the second victim, Brandon. I saw him trapped in a room, and I knew he was tied to a bed. So for me, it starts with the victim.
Okay.
So in whatever scenario they're in, so whether they are, they're trapped in a room or they're already dead, and then it's the questions. It's like, why? Like, what's happened to them?
Right.
What is happening?
Okay.
Why are they in this room? Like, how did they die? So it's weird. It never starts with Henley. It always starts with the victim being placed in some kind, they're already in a crime scene. Okay. And then I suppose I have to reverse engineer it and go back to the beginning and work out what the actual crime is.
And what she does and how she got there and how we can put all of the moving parts. I got you. I always wondered that because I'm like, your mind is absolutely insane. Like I said, I read the Jigsaw Man, and I'm not going to spoil it. If you haven't read it, please do. But that one knock at the door and the box, like, how did you even think to do that? But it's fantastic. And I know.
Oh, that's in the Jigsaw, the first scene.
That is.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not even sure where that even came from, because that's quite sick, really.
Very.
But what I did know, I knew I didn't want it to be. I always say for like graphic scenes and I suppose violent scenes, there needs to be a point to it. Okay. It can't just be there just to fill up space on the page. It needs to make sense in the context of the story. And I do remember with that scene, I didn't want you to see it, because seeing it is like the easy way out, but I wanted you to envision yourself doing exactly the same thing as Henley.
So crazy. And that kind of goes into the next question. I was just going to basically say or ask, how do you decide when a scene needs to be brutal versus subtle? Because you do have a lot of subtle scenes, and you do have a lot of scenes where we're actually getting to know the characters and we're still on the Jigsaw Man. But how do you decide, or do you decide, when the scene is going to be brutal versus subtle? Is there any type of thought process?
I don't think there is. I really don't think there's any kind of process. I do remember, like, in the very beginning, I always think, and I think I just go back to working as a criminal lawyer. It's like, in a weird way, not every day is filled with violence. Right. So when I'm writing my books, I want it to feel like as close to life as it possibly can, and not every day of your life, even if you're investigating a crime, it's not going to be filled with violence, because for me, the characters have to go, like Henley, the detective, she has to go home at some point. Yeah. And which is why it kind of, there's a balance, because I always felt, for me as a lawyer, I always say I pick up a case and the case is nicely packaged up, and I deal with the case and I deal with my client. Whereas in my head, I feel for police officers, for detectives, you're dealing with a case from day one until it reaches its conclusion. And it can conclude in a week, or it could conclude in years, because someone gets arrested, they get charged, there's a trial, and then on and on and on. And I just thought to myself, I couldn't see how you couldn't take that home with you. Yeah. So that's why there's a balance. But I don't, it's odd, I don't plan out like I suppose, like, how graphic the scenes are. Right. Like, when I do my outlines, I may say, well, someone's, they're going to find a body. Right. But I don't know in advance, like, how graphic I'm going to make it until I'm writing the scene. And then I'm like, it needs more. It needs more. No,
Oh,
it
and
needs
it's
more.
more. It's more, y'all. Like I
It's more.
said, if y'all have not read any of them, please do. Hopefully, all of my talking about it and us being blessed with Nadine's presence will get you guys to
Yeah.
read some.
I hope everyone can see me properly because I don't know what I'm doing on TikTok.
Yes, hopefully y'all can see her. I wanted you to be able to see the comments because you got a lot of love in here. I actually created a special sticker to welcome you. So everybody drop her special sticker and it just says, welcome to the cult. That is what I call my little team. So we got a little sticker for you to welcome you in.
Thank you.
While they're doing that, I need to talk about Angelica just a little bit because she is... Like I said, I love her. She is my girl, but she does a lot of things that I don't agree with. So my first question is, do you ever feel emotionally protective over her?
No, it's weird. I don't.
You don't?
I don't. I feel protective over. It's weird. Because I feel like Henley and her, like Stanford, which is like her best friend, and Lynn, who's the pathologist. I feel like the grown-ups in the room can handle themselves to an extent. I'm very protective over Ezra.
Okay.
Who's like
wow.
IT. I'm very protective over him. But with Henley, I kind of see. I always wanted, when I was creating her, I always wanted her to feel like the character that if you met her in a real life, you would be able to go and sit down and have a drink with her or go for coffee with her, and then you could talk to her like a friend. He said she does. I mean, I write her, and I openly accept this woman does questionable things, especially.
You already know what I'm thinking.
I know. In the first book, I don't know if I could do this without spoilers, but it is what it is. But obviously, we know that she was in a relationship with Pelletier, who's her boss. Before she got married, they were having a thing because they've had friends. Yeah, he's her boss. He leads the unit. But they've always been friends and they had a relationship. Then she got married and whatnot. But obviously, there's still a thing. And in the first book, obviously, she does something.
Yes.
And the best response, my brother was reading the book. I've got two brothers. My younger brother was reading the book, and then he calls me and he says, I can't believe she did that. And I'm like, what? There's no context to this statement.
Yeah.
And I said, what are you talking about? Who? I can't believe she did that. I'm like, who are you talking about? Henley. I can't believe Henley did that. He goes, I was rooting for her. He goes, I have to go. He put the phone down. And it was because she did something. And I'm like, but that's the response you want. Like you want to read the character and feel like so invested in them and their lives that when they do something, it kind of goes against the grain because she's so good at her job.
She's amazing.
She's a boss at her job. She doesn't take. I'm gonna swear. She doesn't take no shit from nobody. Like she's good at her job.
Yes,
right.
She's amazing.
She is. But then in her personal life, there's a lot going on. So when stuff happens with the personal life, I'm like, even I've sat back and was like, and I wrote the scenes. And I'm like, really?
Because I'm just like, I'm so protective over the husband, and oh my gosh, I love him. But I get it. I think that is interesting that you say you're not protective over her, but in a sense, I understand because she's a big girl and she's making all her own moves and all her own decisions. But like I said, she really just gets on my nerves, but she's so good at her job and she is literally that girl. So I understand. I just wanted to know if you ever felt protective over her in any way. But
I've never been asked that question before. If I feel protected, and even when I think about it, like my first thought, maybe it's just like a nurturing thing. I said I feel like she can handle herself.
She can handle herself, so I definitely understand that. The next question I had about Angelica was, how do you balance Angelica's professional life with her personal struggles? So I've read the books, but when you're writing it, how are you able to have her in these scenes with her boss and then go back home and kind of just sweep it under the rug? Because it's hard. Her and her boss, it gets real. And again, I'm not going to spoil it, but certain scenes you like, wait, let me reread. Like, did they? And then she has to go home and she has a family. So how are you able to balance her professional life with her personal struggles?
Can I just say, I remember when I was writing The Kill List, which is the third book in the series, and there's a scene, I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a scene between her and Pelletier, and I think I finished writing the scene, and then I looked at the computer screen. I sat back and I was like, I don't know what you're doing, because I would have gone. Like I would not have. I would have just ended my relation. That marriage would be over, and I just thought he did. It's a
Yeah.
and it wasn't like a big thing he did. It was a small thing that happened, this small interaction, and I'm like, I would go. But it's like what I said earlier, when it comes to like balancing the scenes. I said, like, I think back to like my working life, and always thinking that, you know, police officers, you have to go home at some point.
Right.
So how are you dealing with your day job and then going back to your family and interacting with your family? And then I think about, and I suppose it probably is a little bit of me in her personality makeup, in the sense that I can compartmentalize very, very, very easily. And I had to do that being a criminal defense lawyer, because I always said you couldn't work on the cases that I worked on and then not have that affect you if you wasn't able to compartmentalize. So me and her have that same personality trait. So she's very able to put things in boxes. But, you know, she has this husband, Rob, and he was a lot worse in the earlier drafts. Like, I had to
really
tone him down. Yeah, he was very unreasonable, but so I had to turn him down and make him more reasonable. But I can see where he's coming from.
I can too. Once you said that, I had to rethink, and I have a love-hate relationship with Rob, but more love only because if Henley is going to do what she's going to do, then she needs to do what she's going to do in that situation. Yeah. So when I'm reading it, I'm like, when is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? It hasn't happened yet. Make it happen. So that's kind of like where my mind is.
Yeah, they have a kid though. That's the problem. I say that's the problem.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be honest, if she was to leave him, and it's weird how I can talk about them like they're real people, but that's how they feel.
They do.
If she was to leave him, if she was to leave him, he wouldn't make it easy for her.
Oh,
take
no.
the kid. That's she is very, very, very aware of that.
Okay. So I guess at that point I understand, and I'm just ready to continue reading. But before we get into the Shadow Carver, I want to talk about the serial killers or the villains, the darkness, the fear.
Yeah.
Couple questions. So my first one is, what makes a villain truly frightening to you? Because now I've learned and read a couple of them, which I've been totally but what makes a villain truly frightening to you?
Because I was thinking about this, because I was like thinking back through the books. Every villain in every book, they're so different. Like,
yes,
obviously in the Jigsaw Man, you've got two. Okay, you've got the copycat, and you've got Olivier, who's the Peter Olivier, the original serial killer, and he is what he is. Like, he's a killer, but he's also very charming with it.
Yeah.
Whereas in the Binding Room, I can't spoil it, but it's not so. Yeah, I won't spoil it. Yeah, I won't spoil it. But it's not so clear cut.
Right.
And when I think about real life, you know, I say villains come in all shapes and sizes. There are people who this is who they are.
Yeah.
They enjoy it. They're psychopaths. They're sociopaths. They enjoy it. Whereas the other type, it's circumstances. You know, life choices.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what's scarier, because Olivier's scary in his own way, but the others are scary because they justify. They have an explanation, and it makes sense in their head for the reasons why they're doing those things. But I think the scariest people are the ones who seem the most normal.
Yeah, that's
the ones
walking.
When,
that's just walking around us. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. When you're watching like the news and something's happened, and then when they go and speak to the neighbours, and neighbours like, oh, they just seem so normal. You know, it was the nicest guy.
I didn't think that they would do that. Wait, they did that? And it's like, you would have never known. Yeah, I totally understand. I agree. Okay. So is there a line you refuse to cross when you're writing violent scenes or brutal scenes? Is there something that you absolutely won't write about, or is pretty much anything on the table for you?
No, anything's on the table. As I said, I'm very good at compartmentalizing, and I've been asked this question before, and I was on a panel with crime writers, and a couple of the crime writers they said like they drew the line at basically children. Like,
Right.
anything involving children, they draw the line at. But my response is that in my, when I was working as a criminal defense lawyer, I had to do any case that came to me, I had to do. My personal feelings have got nothing to do with it. So, and I did, go through like a list of criminal offences, and I would have represented someone charged with all of those offences. So I couldn't say no to a case. So to me, why would I then draw the line at writing about it? Because I always feel that crime fiction, thrillers, mysteries, even if you're writing something that's deemed like cozy,
Right,
it has to reflect, like, it reflects life in some shape or form. And yeah, I wouldn't say no, I'm not writing about that, because that's not the world we live in.
Yeah. And I just sitting here, I know people say children, animals, and that was a great perspective to hear. And that's why I love your books, because I never know what's going to happen. I never know what I'm going to read. My jaw is going to be on the ground, and that's how it's going to be. Okay. Let's see. And before we get into the shadow carver, because like I said, I appreciate you for being here so late in the evening. I did have, okay, cool. I did have one question. What is one thing that you hope readers say after finishing your book or your books?
Oh my God. That's what I'm going to say. Oh my God. I need to talk to someone about it. Did that happen? And I want them to have the moments, when you're reading a book and then you're like, you said it earlier, and you read a scene, you're like, hold on, what?
Right.
And then you go back. You're like, let me go back. But I always said, did you have, no, I think you did. Did you ever watch Luther with Idris Elba? Did anyone play it in the States?
I don't think so. What's it? Oh yeah. Lucifer?
No,
what's
Luther,
it called?
Not Lucifer, Luther with Idris Elba, where he plays a detective. I'm sure it must have been.
It might have. Oh, Luther. I don't think I watched it.
Okay. There's a scene, and it's not a spoiler, in one of the seasons, I can't remember which one it was, but there's a scene in it where the killer is in the house, and you don't know he's in the house. Well, the person, the character doesn't know he's in the house. And then I think the character goes up into the bedroom, and you see him slide out from under the bed. And it's the most simple, but it's the most chilling scene. And in this movie, and I think they showed it like over New Year's. We have a long holiday when it's Christmas time, and that's when they show everything. And the reaction when Twitter was good, so the reaction on Twitter was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, like not knowing that there was a killer in your house, and you're just going around your house doing your business, doing whatever, having your shower, getting ready to bed, and this guy just slides out from under the bed. And I always says, that's the feeling I want my readers to have. The same reaction, which is so visceral, like, oh my, what? And imagining yourself in that scenario. That's what I want.
First of all, you're going to have to make me, you've just made me want to look up that show and check it out. But
you need to watch it.
I'm going to look it up. But that's why I think my experience, and of course you can read the books alone, but I buddy read each and every one of these books with Kim. And we literally had text threads, voice memos, pictures, gifs, emojis. Like, me and her were locked into each and every one of these books. And we can't wait for the next one. So yeah, you definitely got that reaction out of me. And I think that is the reaction you'll get from everyone, because we were like, wait, what? Let me reread the chapter. So you definitely got that reaction from me when I was reading. Let's jump into the shadow carver. I need to know more about it. Okay. Let's talk about it.
I don't know what I can say about it. So it's out on the 12th of February in the UK, and then I think it's out on the 10th of March in the States, and it's the 4th book in the Inspector Angelica Henley series. And I don't want to spoil it, but obviously everyone's back. This is the best way I can put it. And it deals with the knock-on effects of what happened at the end of book 3 in the kill list.
Okay.
Yeah. And as a result of things that happened in the kill list, there's a killer called Abigail Burnley, who had killed, she was a nurse and she killed some of her patients, tried to kill some more, and she got arrested, found guilty, but she appeals her sentence because of what happens in the kill list. And she successfully appeals her sentence and she's released, but then she gets murdered. So it's kind of like there's this revenge thing going on.
Okay.
Then some, yeah. So that's all.
And
That's
like I
all
said, no spoilers.
yeah.
I just kind of wanted to
all I
get
can say about it.
Yes.
There's a strong theme of revenge going on in it.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit about what sparked the idea for the Shadow Carver? Because like you said, all your books are completely different. And that what makes them exciting. So what sparked the idea for the Shadow Carver?
This is the thing. I like, because the Shadow Carver is slightly different, because when the kill list, I can clearly tell you like what sparked the idea for the kill list. So the kill list, this thing I said, scenes pop into my head, and this scene popped into my head, and this guy was literally on his deathbed, and someone was asking him, "Do you have any? What would be your last words?" And he said, "My last words are I didn't do it." So that was the scene that popped into my head, and I thought, and then that gave me the idea for the kill list.
Okay.
So I said, so because I knew book 4 was kind of like a continuation of things that had happened in the kill list, I knew that this killer, this woman, was gonna come back. But even though she wasn't the original, there was someone else who'd committed an offense in book 1, the Jigsaw man that I'd referred to. Oh no, her name's Abigail, her name's Sean. See, I've got the names mixed up. Her name's Sean. But so there was a nurse called Abigail Burnley in that they talk about in the Jigsaw Man, and she was a nurse who killed loads and loads of people. But then there was someone who did a similar offense, so she's the one who gets released. So I knew it was going to be, there's like a knock-on effect. Because there's got to be consequences. If you find out that you've been investigating someone and then someone's been wrongly imprisoned, and it's because professionals had been lying and things.
Yep. Wait, come back. What happened? Hold first, guys. She'll probably come back in a second. Thank y'all for being so supportive and tapping. Thank you. Right. It might have, hopefully it didn't boot her. Oh, thank you, Rob.
I'm back.
Yay. Oh, we were waiting.
You know what? You know what it is? I've got this, I keep forgetting, I've got the Freedom, it's not an advert, I've got the Freedom app on my phone and on my computer, which basically you can set up sessions to block off social media, and it stopped me doom scrolling at like silly o'clock at night. I forgot. It normally kicks in at 10:30.
I got you. I was like,
yeah, no,
okay.
That's why. That is why I forgot it was in. So where was I? Yeah, because I was saying there's knock-on effects. There's consequences to things that happen. So with the Shadow Carver, I knew that book 4 was going to be the repercussions of events that had happened. Okay. In book 3, but I didn't really have like a crime. If that makes sense.
It does.
Like I didn't always say like for my villains, at least I have like a note in my notebook and post-it note saying I need a Darth Vader, because I always feel like whatever villain I have in my books, they need to have the readers need to have a response as when they see Darth Vader on the screen, which is like as soon as you hear him breathe. Right. So I always want there needs to be a reaction, and I didn't have a Darth Vader in my book until it took me. I think I'd written like half of it. More than half of it. Wow. And I had to leave the country. In other words, I went on holiday, went to see my parents in Grenada, and I was sitting there watching a show. And then it came to me and I was like, oh, that's it. Wow. That's like, this is like their motivation. This is the thing they do that makes you like feel, oh my God. So yeah, the Shadow Carver, it was slightly, I think probably why it was a little bit harder because it was different. Okay. Because I had to really think about the motivation behind the revenge. I mean, it's very easy to say revenge, but what do you do with that? Okay, gotcha. So without spoilers, what emotion did you most want readers to feel from this one? Is it anything different, or are you still looking for that
wow shock factor? Since you said this one is kind of revengeful, is there any emotion that you would want readers to take away from this book?
I still want you to be like, oh my God, wow, what? I can't sleep.
That's
what
it. I want you shocked. Okay.
I want you to look at your colleagues when you're going to work the next day. I want you to look at them sideways, like, really? What would you do?
All right. And so I think one of my last questions would be, what kind of reader do you think this book will especially resonate with? Is there a type of reader that will resonate with this book? I mean, I'm a thriller reader, so of course it's going to appeal to me. So obviously people that read thrillers and maybe even horror, but are there any other readers that you think this book will resonate with?
I always want my books to appeal to like anybody.
Okay.
I mean, like I'm talking about my mum. My mum is not a strictly like mystery thriller reader, but I mean, obviously I'm her daughter, so she reads all my books. But she reads them and she enjoys them, and she say like learning about the killers and
exactly
having an emotional reaction for it. So I want it to be like anyone can pick up the book and feel like, oh my God. But obviously you want all thriller lovers to read it and fall in love with it and tell their friends about it. But if you can reach out to someone new, sounds like a song, doesn't it? DANNYREADSS, reach out and touch. Yeah, if you can reach out and touch someone new with it.
Okay.
So this is my personality. This is what you get. It is so not like my books.
Yeah, the books are absolutely. Listen, so before I even go into that and kind of, like I said, wrap it up, out of the three.
Oh, that's a shame.
Oh, I mean, if you want to, we can chat if you would like. I didn't want to.
Yeah, I can stay for a little.
Okay, perfect. I was like, I don't want to, take up all her time. I know it's getting late.
All I'm gonna do is go to bed after this, so it's fine.
Okay, perfect. Out of the 4 now that you've written, what is your favorite? I have a favorite. Do you have a favorite?
No. Oh, no.
Okay.
It must be maybe. No, I don't have a favorite. I mean, I should say the Jigsaw Man, because that's the Jigsaw Man's the one that started it all. But I don't think I have a. They've all given me pain and given me love. It's in equal measures. But no, I don't have a favorite.
Okay. Well, the Jigsaw Man is my favorite. Like I said, I think I talk about it all the time. I want people to read it. I share it all the time. I've done TikToks and Instagrams and YouTubes. You've seen them. I tag you. It's my favorite. I think once you read that one, you will be totally just pulled into the series and you will fall in love with everybody. So that's my favorite. I love them all. They're all 5-star reads. It's a 5-star series, y'all. But the Jigsaw Man, literally, I just couldn't believe it. Like I said, you literally have body parts being scattered across the city. Like, who does that? Nadine Matheson. She wrote that.
People do.
Yeah.
But I told you about the Jigsaw Man. When, I said I'm a criminal lawyer, and I clearly remember, and I said there's 2 parts to like where the Jigsaw Man came from, the idea for it came from. Because one first part, actually 3 parts. One, I had to write an assignment when I was doing my master's, and the assignment was you need to write an opening chapter and it needs to be suspenseful. So that was our assignment, like the prompt. And then I live by the river, and I will always see when I go out on my walks and stuff, but just in life, you'll always see what we call the mudlarkers on the riverbank. And when the tide is out, they're looking for stuff on the river. But normally they're looking for treasure.
Right.
So they were always in my head. And because I live by the river, I've grown up knowing, hearing bodies being pulled out the river. So there was that part. So one part of me was thinking, I wonder what would happen, how it would feel to be a mudlarker out there in the morning looking for treasure, and then you find a body part.
Oh, crazy.
So it's crazy, isn't it? That was the first thing. But then the second part of it was, God, I can't remember what year it was. Maybe 2006, 2007. And I was working at my law firm, and then there was this case. And I remember I was in the office. I'd come back from court, and I was in the office, and then on the news we heard about body parts being found, like out of London, and literally this guy. I don't know how people. No, this we're thriller. You're thriller lovers. You'll be fine. So they found this guy's torso, and then a couple of miles after that, they found a leg, and then a few days after that, they found an arm. Then they found the rest of it, and they called this guy the Jigsaw Man. So that always stuck in my head. So then fast forward to writing the book and doing the course, I've got the riverbank, I've got mudlarkers. What if they found a body? Oh, they find body parts. And I think that's what makes it more, I think that's what probably makes it more chilling, is the fact that it's so easily, it does happen. And it's always in those your normal days, you know, where nothing should be happening, where the macabre and insane happens.
Crazy. Well, if you want to hang around, I will definitely take a look in the comments. If there are some questions, I did see some questions that were coming through for Nadine. So if y'all want to drop some, I know we can't pin them, but if you want to drop some questions as I see them, I'll definitely ask. I did see a question was, who are some of your favorite authors? Who are some of the favorites that you read?
Oh God. I mean, I read everything, which is just it's not helpful. Not just crime, my favorite authors are James Elroy, I love, S.A. Cosby, I love, which is so weird because he and I were kind of published at the same time, and then that's how we became friends. So anything he releases, I'm like, I need to read it. So
Right.
he's one of my favorites. Dorothy Coomson's one of my favorites. Not crime writers, I've always loved Amy Tan.
Okay.
She wrote the Joy Luck. She's always been one of my favorite. I'm now looking at my bookcase to see what's on there, to see what's on the bookshelves. Who else? Those are the ones who come to my head. Oh, I love Michael Connelly's books.
I think I have a couple books by Michael Connelly.
Yeah, like Michael Connelly. I can't think. It's always a hard question. It's a simple question, but it's hard because you're like, I love everything. Who am I reading at the moment? Oh, I'm reading Ashley Elston at the moment, and that.
Okay. So
this is the best thing about being a crime writer. It's like you get sent books. You get sent early copies of books. So I'm reading her Anatomy of an Alibi. Who else have I read recently?
And if y'all have any more questions as she's answering, you can drop them and we'll grab them. And as long as we have her, we'll ask her some questions. So if anyone else has questions,
someone's saying if she interviews S.A. Cosby, they're screaming. Is it me interview them or you interviewing? I've interviewed him on my podcast. So.
Yes, she has. Yes, and again, if you want, tell us more what you got going on. She has interviewed him. Yes, please.
Yeah, I have a podcast called The Conversation. So, which you can listen anywhere, wherever you find your podcast, and now they're on YouTube as well. But so I've interviewed S.A. Cosby quite a few times actually.
I mostly listen on YouTube. You can go on YouTube.
Yeah.
They're on YouTube as well. That's where I listen to them because I just prop it up when I'm at work and we get to see faces. But if you don't want to see faces, I love to see faces. If you don't want to see faces, then you can just check it out.
Walking around. Also, I'm a big comic book fan as well. And I get a lot of inspiration, like especially for villains. I get them from the comic books I read, because I always feel that when I'm writing my own character, when I'm writing my characters, I always feel that characters, they shouldn't feel flat. They should always feel multidimensional. As I said, you want to be able to feel like if you met them in real life, you could either go for a drink for them or you would run from them. Yeah. And I feel with comic books, especially with villains, they do a good job of showing their development, what made them. So always keep that in mind.
Yes, it's called The Conversation. That's her podcast. Another question was, does anyone inspire your characters? I guess in your real life, does anyone inspire your characters?
No, but people always think, I always say Henry's not me. Henry's got too many problems and too many. I do not have that many issues. And I definitely don't have those issues. So no, I don't. But I suppose I always say, like, all writers, not just crime writers, I think all writers, like, you're magpies, you'll pick little bits. So I'm always asked if I've used any of my cases for my books or any of my
Ooh,
clients.
that's a
I'm
good
like,
one.
no, yeah, I wouldn't lift transport my client and put them in a book. But I've always said there might be little bits of their personality
Mm-hmm.
that speak to you, like something they do or how they move, and you're like, oh, that's interesting. And you might keep a hold of that and use it in a book. But Henley, it's weird. I wasn't thinking of anyone like someone I met gave
Right.
inspiration. Because when I first saw Henley, it was even years before I even did the course. She literally just popped into my head. I mean, she popped into my head. I saw her standing on the street and I saw her looking at a police station and I knew she had to go in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I also knew that she'd been away for a period of time. So and I knew something had happened to her, but I didn't know what had happened to her.
Okay.
And I wasn't sure. Then I knew she had to go to work. So then I knew she was a detective, but I didn't know what happened to her. I didn't even know she was married. I knew that she'd been on some kind of, she was on when I saw her, she was on medication because she had medication this went like she had medication in her pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew these little things, but then she popped into my head kind of not fully formed, maybe like 60% formed. But I didn't know what to do with her until I had to do that assignment. And then I wrote the book and I'm like, this is where she belongs. And this is what's happened to her. She's been stabbed by a serial killer.
That is cool. Speaking of Henley, so there's a lot of different covers. Obviously, we got the UK covers, we got the US covers.
Yeah.
I've seen so many different covers. Is this what she looks like? This is just one of the covers, the binding room. Is this Henley? In your opinion, is this what she is?
If I told you, right, I know Henley. This is what I can tell you about Henley. I know Henley's a dark-skinned black woman.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know that she's probably, I'm 5'7", so I know she's probably around 5'7", 5'8". I know she hates running because I was a sprinter in school. I was not a long distance runner. So whenever anyone says to her, you should try running, she's like, no.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't really see her face.
Okay.
When I write her, and I don't really see.
That's interesting.
I don't really see any of their faces. Like I can tell you, it's weird. I can tell you what her eyes look like.
Okay.
I can tell you, she's got a scar on her cheek, but I can't say I'm looking at that book cover and say, yeah, that is definitely.
Gotcha. That is very interesting.
Yeah. So that's why when readers when they do their collages and they say this is who they imagine Henley being, or this is the actress that should play, I'm always like, oh, that's interesting, because I don't have a fixed image in my head, and I think it's good that way anyway, because then you can kind of create her,
right?
Any of the characters.
That is amazing. That's what I love to do when I'm reading. This is what I think this character looks like, and I love that. I want to make my own, not assumption, because like you said, a lot of times you're very descriptive when you're writing, and that's another amazing thing that I really love. But like you said, I want to be able to put some pieces together for me as I'm reading and kind of have that personal experience with the characters.
Well, I know in the binder, I could tell you, the thing is, I could tell you what Serena looked like. The Packers, in my head, I'm like, she's a typical first wife of a mega church wife. I'd imagine having like a really, just lots of a weave, wigs.
Yeah.
And she's made up. She would be like Wendy from Real Housewives.
Okay.
Potomac. If you watch Real Housewives of Potomac,
I don't watch it, but I've seen the characters for the actresses.
Someone's laughing. Sure. I don't know if they're laughing at what I said, but that's that's what
probably.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kim said, "Does it get more challenging or easier to write as the series continues?"
Oh, it's kind of 50-50. Okay. It's kind of easy in the sense that I know the world, so I know who the characters are. I know who, I know all the locations, I like their place of work and where they live. But what makes it difficult is that you want every book to feel like, you don't want it to feel repetitive, like I'm just repeating everything that happened in the previous book. Because I write what we call police procedurals, I always say there's always going to be certain things that are going to happen. There's always going to be some kind of chase scene,
Yeah.
and there's always going to be an arrest, and there's always going to be a police interview. So those three things are kind of like the staples. But I have to try. The difficulty is trying to make the case around it as unique and as interesting as I possibly can. So I say it's 50-50.
Okay. That's very interesting. Yeah, I think they're laughing at you. What you said?
That Wendy.
Yeah, about the big hat. And they love creating scenes in their mind. Once you visualize the character, that's it. It can't be anybody else.
Yeah.
I said thank you for responding. Just trying to see if I missed any questions. Do you have any writing rituals or habits that help you get in the zone? That's a good
When
one.
I'm out, yeah, that's a good, because when I'm outlining, because I'm very much a planner, so I plan my books before I write. But when I'm doing that first outline, I have to do it. It's so ridiculous. I have to do it on a yellow legal pad, and I have to do it with a pencil.
Pencil?
I always outline because I can erase stuff. So
Yeah.
I always do that initial outline on my yellow legal notepad and a pencil. And then once I've done that, I've written it out, then I will then type it out. And I don't like spreadsheets, but I suppose it's a spreadsheet of some kind. And I'll then do that. But that's I would say the only writing ritual like I have. I can't write in silence.
Okay.
I just can't, like I've tried. So there's always something on in the background. But saying that, I mean, it happened the other day. I was writing the other day, and I think the Alexa was playing. Alexa froze, so there was nothing for like 15 minutes, and I was writing away. So I suppose I can do it.
Yeah.
But my preference is to have something going on in the background. But with my book, I don't have any other. I don't think I have any other rituals. I just need to be comfortable, which is why I'm normally in a hoodie. And yeah, I think that's mainly it.
Comfortable, a little music, your legal pad, and your pencil. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the start of the book, and then once I'm writing, but I can't write in. I've tried it. You know, writers can write in cafes and things like that.
That was my next question. Yes.
No,
That's not.
No,
You can't do
there's
it.
too much. No, and I'm easily distracted. Like I'm very easily distracted, and I just find there's too much going on around me. Even if you have your headphones on, and no, and then I'd be like, I need to leave. I mean, how long can I sit here for?
Right. And then I understand because, like, when I go to cafes, I'm reading, but then I start people watching, and then I'm kind of seeing what's going on over there, and so I understand that. Jemiah said, "Does she have any advice for someone who wants to start writing a thriller?"
Oh, what's my advice? It sounds like, don't get annoyed with me. It's really going to be just right. If you have an idea in your head, sit down and just write. It could be just a scene. If you're finding it difficult, just try and write a scene. Or if you find that if you have a character in your head, just do like a biography first. Just try and work out who your character is. But if the scene pops into your head first, just write the scene. But I think my main advice would be, though, when you're writing thrillers, is try and make your characters as real as possible. Just try not to make them flat. Like, really try and understand like who they are and what motivates them. And then the thing as well, like for me, writing a series, what's good about writing a series is that I didn't need to know everything about Henley and everyone else in the books, in the series, in the first book, because I always learn new things about them. Like, I didn't know, I think Henley in book 2, I think she says she's allergic, I think it's book 2 or book 3. She's allergic to lilies. One of the books. I didn't know that in the very beginning.
Okay.
But then I discovered she's allergic to lilies. And then you discover, I think in book 2, it's hard, or 3, I think one of the two, that Ramuta, he had some issues, like substance issues when he was at college. I think it's book,
that was book
2. I can't remember. Book 3.
Feel like it was book 3, but maybe 2.
Maybe 2.
Maybe
Maybe two,
two.
yeah, one or two. But you do discover. But actually, another piece of advice is like always just read as widely as you can. And if you're reading thrillers, some people say no, you shouldn't read the same genre that you're writing in, but I feel like you should. But also read different types of thrillers. And like I always write in the first person, not in the third person. So because I always find it difficult to write in the first person, I make an effort to read books written in the first person.
Okay.
So you can learn how different writers use language, how they use setting, how they, create tension. It's always books. There are always a lessons.
Okay. Amy asks, do you see an ending to the series or is it ever evolving?
I don't see it ending. I hope it never ends. It's always evolving. And I know what I want to. I know what's going to happen in because I'm writing for book. Book 4 will be out next year, and then I know book 5 and 6 is planned. I know what's. I know what's going to happen. Yeah, I know. Yeah, 5 and 6 is planned. I know what's going to happen in 8.
Period. Okay.
And I possibly know what's going to happen in 9. And I
That's
know what I want
amazing.
to do. Yeah.
That is amazing. That makes my heart very happy. Can we just do like 25 books or 30 books? That would make me
Thing is,
very
I'm not bored with them. I think if I was bored of the characters, then it would be like, you know what, you've had 4, I'm done.
Mhm.
But I'm not bored with them. I like them.
I love them. So please keep it going. Like I said, this is like
I
a
will.
dream come true because I advocate for your books and this series and the Jigsaw Man.
I know.
It's always in my lineup. When people say, give me a thriller, it's one of the ones that I always recommend. So I'm just so ecstatic to hear that it is going to be ever evolving. That is
I'm
amazing.
very grateful for that.
And let's see, let's do a couple more. Usher says, do you want your book turned into a movie or TV series?
TV series.
Okay, TV
I want
series.
it on I want a TV series. I was going to say I don't care who does it, but I do. HBO can have it. Well, I was going to say HBO. That could be Netflix at this point, couldn't it? So anyway, HBO, Netflix, BBC, they could have it.
Okay.
Even Amazon Prime. Oh no, Apple TV. Look, anyone could have it. I would love to.
At this point. Okay.
At this point. But I think one thing I know is that whoever has it and whoever adapts it, I don't want them to lose. I sound very pompous, but I don't want them to lose the essence of it. Like I don't want them to stray away from the stuff that makes it good.
Yes.
Suppose like the relationship stuff, but also it's graphic when it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's what people, and I know that from my readers and what the readers say. They love those moments, even when it scares them, and it makes them look at certain food items in a different way. Like, I don't know if I want to do that again. But which I had one woman says to me, she goes, "I can't look at sausages." I'm like, okay,
yeah.
But
I think HBO would kill it. I think HBO would do a fantastic job at it. Now that you said that, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Like, when they did like True Detective and Mayor of Easttown and God, all of those. I just I think it would be good. So yeah, I would love it.
And a follow-up question to that is, who would your dream cast be, or do you have a dream cast?
Well, it seems to change now because oh God, I've forgotten his name. Oh, I've always wanted Michael Fassbender as Peter Olivier. That's who I've always wanted to play, Peter Olivier. Henley, had. My God, what's her name? Lashana Lynch.
Okay.
Lashana Lynch. It didn't used to be her. It used to be. God, I've forgotten this woman's name, this actress' name. But right now it's Lashana Lynch.
Okay, let me show her. Lashana Lynch. I just gotta look them up to see.
Yeah, she was in. I think the last thing she did was The Jackal with Eddie Redmayne.
Okay.
But I think the exciting thing though about it is that if it was it would be interesting to see if it, if it did get adapted and they were casting. Like, there's so many, because everyone's in this book, so it would be interesting to see what new actresses and actors they could bring forward.
Yeah, because we have everybody. We have, oh my goodness, that would be an amazing cast. I just would want to see it before my eyes. Like that would be amazing. So let's cross our fingers and hope that comes to reality. Because I would love that.
Yes. Interesting to see who would play Rob, the annoying husband. Well, I say annoying husband, but
like I said, I'm 50-50 with him. I just feel like he's reacting from her, and then they had that whole thing. So he's annoying to a certain extent, but also she's got to get it together. She's got to get it together and make a decision.
Yeah.
Because at this point, what are we doing? So yeah, but I do get it for sure. All right, let's see if I have any more questions. Well, I don't see any more questions. If you please take the floor and say anything else you would like us to know about the Shadow Carver. Like I said, I'm patiently waiting. But anything else you would like to tell us, or tell us about yourself or about the new book, we would love to hear it.
Well, what can I say about the Shadow Carver? I'm excited for people to read it though. I'm very, very excited to read it, because I don't know if it's darker than the other books though. I think that's more for the readers to tell me than for me to tell you, because certain things I write the books, but certain scenes don't bother. Of a lot of scenes, they don't bother me. I don't realize how intense they are until it's only when I listen to the audiobook, which is a weird thing. When I listen to the audio, so as I'm writing them,
someone just had a question about the audio. Yeah, you can get her books on. They are audio books.
Yeah, you can get them on audiobooks. Yeah, it's only when I remember when I wrote the Jigsaw Man and started getting all the reviews and stuff back from it, and people saying how graphic it was and how they're scared they were.
Yeah,
and I was like, really?
Yeah,
are you sure? And then I had the audiobook playing, because I hadn't heard it, so I thought, I want to hear what it sounds like. And I had it playing on Alexa, and I remember I can distinctly remember. Like going too much into my life. I'd come out of the shower and I'd come out of the bathroom and I'd gone into my bedroom, and Alexa was playing the audiobook, and there's a certain scene in the Jigsaw Man, and I stopped. And when I stopped, it was with Olivier. There's a scene with Olivier, and I stopped, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's bad. I was like, oh,
yeah.
And I think it's because I'm hearing someone else read my words. It's not me reading my own words. Remember, when you're writing a book, I've done a lot of edits on this book. There's a lot of drafts on this book. And even when you finish doing so by the time my editor had it, I think I'd done 2 edits on it, maybe 3 edits on it. And then when I'm working with the editor, I had set of developmental, so you do your first round of edits, then there's line edits, then there's copy edits. So I've gone through this book like 6, 7, 8, 9 times,
right?
And then you have to, it's a lot, and then you have to proofread it. So you then proofreading it to make sure everything's correct, and then you're done. So you spend a lot of time in this book, so you're kind of detached, but you don't hear what everyone else says.
Okay.
But when someone's reading out your words, and then it's an actress, and she's putting all the different, tone and inflections and switching between characters, which she did really well. So when it was coming up to those really taut scenes, I stood there and I was like, oh, I get it now. Yeah, that's bad.
That's real bad. That's awful.
That is real bad, which is why they always say, if you can when you're working on your books, if you can find a way to listen to your books out loud whilst you're writing, it helps you.
Okay.
So,
and how long does it take you to write a book?
I know I can actually, because I remember, I think the Kill List or the Shadow Carver, I wrote that quite quickly. I wrote the first draft quickly, but then I got interrupted with a hurricane when I was in Grenada.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to deal with that. But I know I can write a first draft I can do it in 6 months.
Okay.
If I have to. I'll probably do it in shorter time than that, but I can definitely do a first draft. But I say that first draft is it's messy as anything. It's not for your eyes. It ain't for anyone else's eyes. It's just for me. Like your first draft is just getting the story down, and then the second, then once I start doing my edits and stuff, I can do that very quickly, doing rewrites and stuff. I can do rewrites in about. I just need a deadline. I could do a rewrite in 4 weeks if my editor said rewrite in 4 weeks.
You can have it done. Wow.
Yeah.
And Usher says, how do writers get out of slumps?
Oh my God. I was in a slump because I'm writing something different. The book I'm writing now, it's not a Henley book, it's a standalone. And because I got into a slump because I said I know Henley's world so well that to write something different, it was just strange. And it's weird, even though I'd created these new characters and I've created this story and I've created this setting, it wasn't like Henley's, but I can just slip into it. Gotcha. It's like, just putting putting on a really comfortable load of pajamas. This is something new and it's scratchy and it's irritating.
Oh, okay.
I got into a slump and I was like, oh, I can't write. So I walk away. Okay. And this is how I get out of slumps. I walk away, I write something different, which I find really helps. So I call them my secret projects. I've always got secret projects going on. So I leave, if I'm struggling with one, I go to my secret project and like mess around with that. And that kind of just, because you're not focused on it, it kind of opens up your brain in a weird way. It kind of bring you out of the slump. So because it's, here in the UK, we basically shut down for Christmas from Christmas Eve and we don't go back to work until 5th of January, really. But I stopped working. I finished last Wednesday. And it's odd. I was like, right, I'm done. I'm not writing anymore because I was getting into a slump. I'm like, I can't make this work. Been sitting there for 3 days. I cannot make it work. I said, I'm done. I've turned on my out of office. I'm done. And then yesterday, I'm like, let me get my notebook.
Okay.
There's no pressure on you. There's no pressure on me.
Yeah.
To like get the words out. Now the words are coming. Now the story's coming, making sense.
That was a good question. I think that's true. Yeah. Hopefully that helps, Usher. Hopefully that helps you. Well, like I said, if you want to share anything else, we are sticking around to hear it. If not, then like I said, if there are any last minute questions, y'all can definitely drop them in the box while we have her. But other than that, I just wanted to say I am very grateful that you decided to jump on and talk to me and my cult members. I love you and I talk about you so much. They're probably like, finally, we get to see who she has been talking about. So anytime you want to join us, you definitely can. I cannot wait for the Shadow Carver. Kim was actually in here, who I buddy read all your books with. She asked one of the questions. So I know we're going to read that one together as well. But I just want to say I'm very happy I found your books, your series, and I binged them. I probably should have waited because now I'm like waiting for the next one. But yeah,
well, that's what you want, though. I think as a writer, you want someone to pick up your book, and then hopefully, if you got a backlist and be like, oh, I need to read everything. I want to read everything they've ever written. But one thing I wanted to ask, because obviously my books are set in London because I'm English and they're set in London. So when you pick it up and you read it, and it's a weird thing to ask, I suppose, but you able to just follow everything through and just be in that world?
Yes. So when I'm reading it, obviously there are some things or maybe words that I'm kind of just like, even Inspector Henley. Yeah. We most of will say detective maybe, or just little things, but we know what you're saying and we know how it it's supposed to be. But yeah, I definitely can easily understand it. And I'm just like, okay, I understand exactly what she's trying to say. But yeah, sometimes I'm just like, okay, what's this word or what's this mean? And then on the Kindle, you can just click it and it'll tell you like what it is
Okay.
or the
Yeah.
definition. But for the most part, they're super easy to read, easy to understand. The writing is incredible. So, but there's definitely some differences when I'm reading it, of course.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's interesting because whenever I get like I always get like a lot of American readers and Canadian readers will email me and say how much they've enjoyed the books. And I'm like,
Yes.
I'm just so glad that you
Yes.
love the book, like you love the story, and that
Hmm.
you're good in my world because all the
Yes.
places, if you ever come to London, like always say, all the locations in my book are real. So
Hmm.
you could
You
get
can
off a
go there.
train. Yeah, and you could go there. You could walk along the river and be like, huh, that's where that guy found the arm.
I was
Like,
just about to say, hopefully I don't find anything floating when I come
yeah,
because
hopefully you won't. But yeah, I think yeah, my intention is always for it to feel real. To feel you want to be moved, but yeah,
yes,
you want to be
yes,
like this is real.
absolutely. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for
Thank you.
joining me. I am
You're
definitely going to
welcome.
download this and save it. So if you want me to send you some clips, I absolutely can.
Oh, that would be great.
Um, we loved you. One more time, chat. If y'all could drop that special sticker that I made for her, that is going to be our
I
goodbye.
love the cult sticker.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's flood it. Let's flood it. Let's flood it. But thank you so much for joining us. And again,
You're
I
welcome.
am very grateful and I cannot wait for the Shadow Carver. And I mean, if you want to send me a copy, I will take it. You can do that. I would be accepting, okay? Just
Yeah,
know
just
that.
email me.
I got you.
I'm trying to see what copies do I have. Oh, but the really good, I say the good thing is that anytime you have a new book coming out, and it doesn't matter how many times you've gone through the thing of writing a book and it being released, and you're always aware, like, oh my God, what are they going to think? Like, what are the
Right.
readers going to think? And put it on net, which is like, it's not nice, but because it's on NetGalley, and normally, like, I don't read reviews, like,
And I was
unless,
gonna ask
unless
you that. I was gonna ask you
yeah,
that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If you want an ego boost, like you can just go to the 5 stars, read those. You're like, oh,
Right.
if you're having a bad day, you want your ego boosted that day. But because the Shadow Carver is coming out in a couple of months, and you want to know how it's doing, and it's on NetGalley, so these are the early readers. So I
Yes.
have gone onto NetGalley, and I'm like, let me just see how many stars, and I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
5 stars. That's good. It's like people are
Mm.
liking it. And you're like, good. And I've seen it, and also on Instagram, I've seen a few people are now sharing their thoughts on it. So,
I am waiting. I saw that it was available, but I said I want it in my hand. Kim and I
yeah,
both saw that it was able to request, but I was like, I want to wait
I
because if I
think,
get it and read it, it's over until next time. So I'm like, I'm gonna wait.
I think you should wait. I think you should wait.
Okay.
I think you should wait. I think pre-order, we always say pre-orders are very important. So pre-order, but
Right.
pre-orders and then have it in your hand, and you're going to be like,
Yes. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. So thank you so much for joining me again.
thank
And I
you.
will
Thank you for having
definitely
me.
email you. And you guys make sure y'all give her a follow. Go get the Jigsaw Man at least so that you can just try that one. And then you're gonna be hooked. You're gonna get the rest of them. But give her a follow for me. Once you get over to her platform, tell her I sent you and pick up the Jigsaw Man. That's all I'm gonna say. So thank you for joining us. Pick it up.
You are very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Okay, have a good night. And again, thank you
I
for jumping on
will.
so late.
No problem. You're welcome. Bye.
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 Yo, that was such a fun time. I had so much fun. She is so fun. But I feel like I need to take a celebratory little drinky drink because y'all, that was my first interview. How did I do? How did I do? Let me turn the light on, y'all. Need it. Show it, you know. I'm sweating. Ooh.